Brad Henderson here, Mayor of the Town of St. Andrews. Thought I would update you on what happened this week at Town Council. So our meeting was Monday night, April 17th at the W.C. O'Neill Arena Complex Chambers. We had actually three presentations at a regular council meeting. Wendy Brooks made a presentation. She is the homestay administrator for Anglophone School District South. She did a presentation on New Brunswick International Student Program, showed the value of what that program brings, not just for economic, but diversity. And it was well received by council. In fact, Councillor Blanchard participates in the program where he has an international student that is living in his home. Alexander Gopin, senior planner, he did a presentation on Amendment MP 20-07 to the Town of St. Andrews Municipal Plan MP 20-01. Henry Hansen, so he was looking basically to get one lot subdivision just on the front of Rose Lane at the corner of Bar Road. There's a motion later in the package, so I'll speak to that. And then lastly, Alexander Gopin, senior planner, did a presentation process for Planning Review and Adjustment Committee procedures and the Assessment and Planning Appeal Board. So there's a particular file that council has been made aware of for a while through, primarily through Councillor Bennett and Councillor Harland in regards to Shamcook with a development of a lobster holding facility. So council is currently in the process of there's an appeal going on. So council is in the process of wondering if they are in fact deemed an interested third party. But that presentation was more on the procedure around the Planning Advisory Committee as well as the hearing before the Appeals Board. We did have a proclamation. We did proclaim May as Lyme Disease Awareness Month. Obviously, St. Andrews has a high density of white-tailed deer, although white-tailed deer are not the only Lyme-carrying animal. Birds, raccoons, even cats, dogs can carry ticks and Lyme disease. But because we have a lot of deer and things bedding down in our community, I think it's very fitting, and especially with the amount of ticks that are Lyme-carrying in our region, to proclaim May that month. The Huntington Society of Canada requested to light up Town Hall, so that was approved as well. And as well, we had a conversation, Kim Reeder, regarding the small modular reactor. She, under communications, was wondering if we would be sending a letter, basically in regards to environmental assessments regarding small modular reactors. So with NB Power making a presentation, the Town of St. Andrews did not send a letter of support, and we did not send a letter against. So at this particular time, there is no action before Town Council. Introduction, consideration, and passing of bylaws. So we did start off by having a significant conversation about capital projects. So the Town of St. Andrews has done a reasonably good job at keeping our debt low. Basically, when you look at kind of your operating, anything under 10% is deemed okay by the province of New Brunswick, and St. Andrews is just close to 4.5%. With the project like the Wharf, Raising Market Square, and other projects, the concern is if we do it all, we're going to be over 8%. So still likely fine by the province of New Brunswick, but it does come down to how much council and the town, the community, the taxpayer is comfortable, how much of our taxes should be going to servicing debt. So more conversation on that. Council is doing strategic planning and priorities this weekend. So hopefully that allows us to have a little bit more discussion on what the community really needs. Although we'd love to have it all, the reality is with the costs, and of course inflation right now, the Wharf project going up significantly, I don't think we can do it all. So we're going to have conversations on what we want to achieve. The first motion was to get $550,000 approval from the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board. And they're going to amortize that over 25 years. Council did authorize our CAO to make the application. It does not mean that we are going to proceed with it. It's just they only get together a couple times a year, the Municipal Capital Borrowing Board. So we want to make sure we do pull the trigger on the Wharf project in the next few months, that we do have the funding that is available for it. Keep in mind, we do have a significant amount of funding from both the provincial and federal government for that project. We We had a land use arrangement for the Viola Davidson. Staff has come up with an agreement for that to be at the wharf, at Market Wharf. So that agreement has been made. Under public safety, we did go to first reading for a bylaw of the town of St. Andrews respecting dangerous and unsightly premises. That is, I guess you could say, a bylaw that we have to take word for word from the province of New Brunswick. If we alter that one, it gets basically overruled by the provincial one. So it is word for word. And what that is, and the reason why we're doing it again, is because Shamcook Bayside always has had that. But right now, the province is the one that has been administering it for awards, and the town of St. Andrews will be going forward. And we also set a date of hearing of objections for that. Just so everyone's aware, it's Monday, May 15th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. The town of St. Andrews also set their RCMP community policing priorities for 2023. So they will be drug enforcement, education, and reduction for substance abuse. We are also doing increased police presence. So that could be, we've heard a lot of complaints about speeding, but it also is about working with youth in our schools. Really anything that makes police more visible in our community. It's proactive policing versus reactive. And then the last one, which I do, it's not always, but I do associate the two together. We mentioned drug enforcement, but also, although it is saying crime in St. Andrews is down, we are seeing an uptick in theft. I do not think that we do have necessarily a crime problem in St. Andrews, but we're seeing other municipalities who say that, and times are changing. So if we want to continue to make this a safe community, I do think that we need to be more aggressive in policing and providing as a community, not just pointing our fingers at the policing. We also as a community need to take a leadership role in providing them with more resources to do their job better. Under business, tourism, heritage, and culture, the bylaw related to the tourism accommodation levy in the town of St. Andrews did go to third and final reading. Had to read that bylaw in full, quite a long reading for those that did catch that. But basically, moving forward, starting July 1st, all hotels, motels, inns, Airbnbs, campgrounds, glamping are all subject to that bylaw in the wards and in St. Andrews of a 3.5% tax, which is not what the business pays, it is what their customer does. And that money basically goes to a tourism development fund. 1/3 the town of St. Andrews keeps for tourism development. 2/3 goes to the organization called Explore St. Andrews, which is in charge of the marketing grants grants process for the town. And we do give majority of the funds to that because that is a panel of tourism providers, so the ones that actually live and work in the industry and understand the impact on what puts essentially heads in beds, and that's what refunds the pot of money. Ocean View campground lease, that was renewed. It is a long-term lease with the Kiwanis, but that was renewed for an annual payment of $23,000 annually for the next 5 years. Under Recreation Community Services, we did have 2 members resign from the age-friendly community. Leslie LeBlanc, who's been a long-term instrumental person in helping to get our age-friendly designation. She has recently retired from the Passamaquoddy Lodge, so she'd like to take some time, well-deserved time. So thank you very much, Leslie, for all of your contributions. And the other person was Sue Corbin. Sue Corbin basically has some personal commitments that she would like to concentrate more. And I will say that as long as I remember as a youth in this community, Sue was actually my first boss at the Chamber of Commerce. So wishing Sue nothing but the best, and thank you for your service for the community as well. The next one would be the Trail Advisory Committee. So Council was fortunate to receive a sizable grant that needed to be used over a 3-year period to basically extend our trail network. So there will be a new trail that's in the works on Harry Mallory Sports Field that goes basically through Harry Mallory Sports Field, Cemetery Road to the Bar Road Trail. So basically anyone knows there's a dirt trail that basically goes below the subdivision, kind of between the ballpark and the subdivision, right across to Bar Road. That will be updated and paved. And then as well, we're looking at doing a raised trail, which will be on the north side from Water Street to Patrick, basically from Water Street, from Patrick Street to the point. So for those of you that are walking downtown, headed to the point. You'll notice that there's a sidewalk. All of a sudden it stops. We're going to put a trail to allow people to safely walk by, because there is quite a bit of traffic there in the summer, and with no sidewalk, I do think it's something as we want. I know we are big on obviously developing our trail network, but I think for active transportation, a safe walking lane around the perimeter of the town is something that we do need. The next one is in planning and economic development. The municipal plan, I mentioned Henry Hansen is looking basically for the municipal plan to remove the portion of his property from the residential growth area designation. Council did complete first reading on that. As well, the hearing of objections on that one will be Monday, May 15th at 6:45 p.m. So council set that. And then the council of the town of St. Andrews will also be requesting the views of the planning advisory committee on this move, as it is a requirement. It is a requirement whenever you are doing this particular rezoning. And then we did have a discussion on the draft bylaw 23-01 being the building bylaw for the town of St. Andrews. Basically, it is about updating that particular building bylaw and making sure that it does apply to Shamcook and Bayside due to the ward. Again, there was one in place for the wards, but as we did reform, now we have to make them all under one umbrella through the town. So there was a staff report and direction needed on a PID 15203359. So we did talk about a piece of land out in Bayside towards Simpson Hill that is currently looking for rezoning to be residential. I believe it is light industrial, I believe, or commercial. But nonetheless, council would like to see that go to first reading, so that'll be coming back in the near future. And then as well, there was a motion that I declared a conflict of interest on regards to the disposal of waste receptacles. The town has basically some trash cans that are a number of years old, and it's about finding a home for those. And then council, last but not least, we did go to closed session regarding a legal opinion or solicitor privilege information. So that is, in a nutshell, the town council meeting for Monday, April 17th. Thanks for listening and getting caught up with what your town council is up to. Have a great day.